The commercial real estate market is crashing, and what should you do next? Well, in this video, I'm going to do a deep dive on what the exact situation is in the commercial real estate world. Is the market crashing? Is it time to get the heck out of the commercial real estate world? Let's find out. What's up, everybody? My name is Henry Eisenstein, and if you don't know who I am, I've been a part of over $450 million worth of real estate transactions, and I'm only 28 years old. In this video, we're going to be talking everything about market predictions and where everything is going, as well as what is going on in the commercial real estate world. So one thing I want to talk about is all these articles, everywhere you look, is basically saying that the commercial real estate market is crashing. There is some truth to it. I'm going to be super honest with you guys. There is some absolute truth to the commercial real estate market crashing, but I want to give you super clarity on exactly what crashing means and why you're seeing this absolutely everywhere. One thing that is occurring is that there are some asset classes that are struggling beyond belief in this type of economy, but there's a couple key factors here. It depends on the asset class and it depends on location. These are the two things that will always be a factor forever and always, regardless of what interest rates are at or whatever's going on in the economy. Because the economy is obviously kind of weird right now with interest rates being as high as they are. What's exactly happening is the following. The office asset class, the sector of office space, struggling in a major way. There's multiple large companies like BlackRock and other organizations, major private equity firms that own tens of millions of square feet of office buildings all across the country, and a lot of them are having issues, so much so that they're just giving the properties back to the bank because the office sector has not recovered since COVID. Any way that's large enough in the sense where it will actually cover debt, if not make a profit. The office sector in itself is struggling so much that major private equity firms are just letting their properties go back to the bank because they cannot make a profit. They can't even make debt payments. And some of these, they can't even restructure the debt to be affordable enough where they're gonna be able to make these debt payments, so they're just giving these properties back. Think about it like this. Before COVID, office space in its entirety as a whole was doing okay. Wasn't doing great, right? I mean, like there was a lot of huge businesses with a lot of office space where we even knew before COVID where we were still kind of wondering, you know, there was a lot of people who had way too much office space, okay? Way too much. I mean, some of these organizations had hundreds of thousands of square feet in prime locations all across the country. There was huge corporations that had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of square feet of office space. I'm not saying they don't have a lot of employees. There's a lot of large corporations that have a lot of employees in these office buildings. Now, there's just an overabundance of these companies with a ton of office space. Then COVID happens. So that was a fact, and they were using it fine. They were totally okay. It was a normal thing. COVID happens, and nobody goes into the office for an extended period of time. There's just nobody in the office. And then it slowly became hybrid, okay? Because we went from everyone was in the office to nobody to a blended hybrid where now people, it's kind of regular where either you're in the office maybe 1 or 2 days and then you're at home for 2 or 3 days, or vice versa. What's happening now is that these huge corporations have realized that they don't even need any of this office space for the most part, or maybe very, very small footprints where some people go into an office and a large percentage of the employee base doesn't even go in the office and they can just do most of the work from home. Because think about it. If you are paying, let's just say you have 100,000 square feet of office space, which is a very, or was at least, a very normal thing for very large corporations. At least, you know, somewhere between 25 and 100,000 was a very normal occurrence for large corporations. That's on the small side, 25,000 to 100,000 square feet. If you're paying $10 a foot, which is cheap, $10 a foot for 100,000 square feet, you are paying $1 million a year for that building. $10 a square foot on an annual basis. If you're paying, you know, again, that's $1 million. If you have 100,000 square feet, $250,000 at 25,000 square feet. Nonetheless, if you had 1 million square feet, which is $10 million a year just for the office space. Let's just say you had 100,000 square feet. Again, small situation, but you're a big corporation and you're making good money. Now that office space is 80% vacant or more sometimes. Maybe it's 90% vacant. Why on planet Earth would you have that office space anymore? It's just not a smart business move to be spending $1 million a year on 100,000 square feet worth of office space when you only really need 10 or maybe 20,000, if that, because a lot of your people are working from home. And if you're getting the same type of work done, I don't blame you, right? I'd be doing the same thing if I was the corporation. Now, these huge office buildings that have hundreds of thousands of square feet with these huge corporations, they're not needing the same square footage, if not any square footage at all. So they're leaving. So the office market is being devastated right now. It's being absolutely obliterated in a lot of ways. It's very, very difficult. If you have an office building right now, especially outside of main metro markets, right, like downtown Manhattan and San Francisco, I mean, think about it. It's just, you don't have the demand. You just don't have the demand. And there's just also now so much supply, right? So much vacancy. You have a ton of options. You're in control. If you're the tenant, you can negotiate to almost any extent you want because these owners of office buildings are getting super desperate. Right now could be a great time, especially if you need an office space for whatever reason. This could be a great time to get some office space. But what I also want to share with you as a quick brief moment here is the other side of the coin for a couple things. Because I'm not even talking about location for a second. I'm just specifically talking about the asset class of office. Industrial in a lot of ways is absolutely crushing it. It's on fire. Multifamily also on fire. We still, in a lot of areas, don't have enough supply for the demand of industrial and apartment buildings right now, which is why we need to have so many new construction properties when it comes to the warehouse industrial spaces as well as multifamily. Retail is kind of in the middle ground where like there's still some parts of the country, which we're going to dive into in just a second here, where it is very location based. So let's talk about location for a quick second. There is areas in New Jersey, as an example, where office buildings are like the hottest, most in demand asset class of any sort you can look for. As much as the commercial market is crashing and burning and oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? What's happening is the specific types of areas and the specific types of asset classes is how you can thrive regardless of what's going on in the economy. Just like I said, there are some areas and some asset classes that are getting decimated. So like San Francisco office space, absolutely decimated. Probably not what you would want to buy unless you know the people, the township officials, and obviously you guys are probably hearing what's going on in San Francisco. I mean, it's weird what's going on with San Francisco. I'm not here to get into the politics of it, but it's definitely gone downhill in a lot of ways. What's happening here is I probably wouldn't invest in office space in San Francisco, but if we're just talking that same asset class, I would love to buy office space in a town right near me, which is absolutely exploding. It's a very, very high demand thing right now where they don't have enough of it and they need to keep building more of it. It's kind of insane. That's just as one specific asset class. Now, this can happen with every asset class. There are some areas where multifamily still is on fire, right? Where they still need to build more and more multifamily because there's so many people moving to a specific area, they need to continue building more and more stuff. There's also other areas that are completely oversaturated at this point. Like, look, I'm looking for places for myself and my fiance right now in Miami. There is so many options for us in Miami. It's completely ridiculous. It's like a crazy overabundance of options. Honestly, personally, it's overwhelming for how many different places we could look at in different areas that we could look at for decent products. So just know that like there's all places all over where at certain asset classes and in certain locations, things can be, quote, crashing. However, other asset classes in other locations can be on fire. It's very fascinating how it depends on how you play the game, which is why I talk about being a dynamic realtor and understanding how all the asset classes work in a lot of different areas. It's kind of having that multi-blend of reasons why it should sell or should not sell, which is going to give you the idea of should I start targeting this type of asset class or this location or not. Quick wrap up. Is the commercial real estate market in a full absolute downswing of a crash? No. I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think that there are people who can crush it in these types of markets. People who can not just stay above water, okay, barely breathing. I mean, people who can do fairly well in these types of markets. I'm not saying crush it. I mean, obviously, if you're crushing it, fantastic. But I'm saying even the people who can do good in these types of markets, that's great, will absolutely crush it in the future economy that's coming, which is, you know, my few predictions that I wanted to share with you guys. Number one, do I ever think office space will ever be the same again? No. I don't think we're ever going to go back where office is ever going to be the demand that it was at one point. I think we're going to start seeing prices compress for price per square foot on office space, and I think that there's going to be a lot of vacancy, and if these townships don't start making it lucrative for investors to come in and redesign and redevelop these types of properties, I think office space in some big areas are going to stay vacant for quite some time, unless they get redeveloped. Point number two, interest rates should be dropping hopefully within the next 6 to 18 months. It's going to happen eventually. Interest rates cannot sustain at these points. They will drop eventually. I talk in my coaching group all the time. This might not be a year where you make $10 million or even $1 million for the first time, right? And if you're at 50,000 and maybe you make 100 grand, this might be a year because of interest rates where you still might make 100 or maybe 150. You don't go to 300 or 500 or $1 million this year. But when the interest rates drop to 5 or 4% or whatever they're going to drop to, whenever that happens, your income will quadruple in a single year if you still continue to do all the activities. Because think about it. We right now have almost $1 billion worth of off-market product, my team and I. Okay, we have $1 billion worth of off-market product, several hundred deals that we're looking at right now. When interest rates drop, a large percentage of those deals that are not a deal right now will become deals and people will want to buy them. So it'll be an absolute unbelievable year. And listen, right now it's just not a time where you're going to quadruple or 10x your income in a single year, but it does not mean that you have to suck wind or be drowning in the business. Those are my two biggest predictions, and the only thing I want to leave you guys with is the following. Stop listening to the news. It's going to change the way you think, it's going to change the way that you do business, and it's just absolutely not necessary. Continue watching content just like this, and stop reading those crazy articles where commercial real estate is going to do X, Y, and Z. I don't care if it says that commercial real estate is going to explode over the next 24 months, because the short answer is yes, it is, and it will continue to do unbelievably well. The last thing I want to say to you is this: if you want to thrive in this industry through these types of, these down markets, up markets, the only thing that you need to worry about is you and being able to find fantastic opportunities of great investment deals, regardless of the economy going up, down, left, right, or sideways. Because we're even selling office buildings right now, but because they're great freaking deals. All right, guys, other than that, if you have any questions or anything else, make sure to put it in the comment section down below. Make sure you like and subscribe as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious, why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can seem like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.